The U.S. says a deal with Iran has been agreed in principle to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and that talks with Tehran have been constructive. But President Donald Trump has also insisted that America's naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until a deal is agreed and signed. Posting on social media, Trump said that he's told his negotiators not to rush into a deal with Iran. He said if he makes a deal, it won't be like the one Obama made with Tehran. Trump also wrote that nobody has seen the agreement or knows what it is, and that it's not even fully negotiated yet. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also posted on social media following a phone call with President Trump on Saturday. Netanyahu said they agreed that any final deal must include dismantling Iran's nuclear enrichment sites and removing its enriched nuclear material from its territory. He also said Trump has given Israel the go-ahead to, quote, defend itself against threats on every front, including Lebanon. Iranian media are reporting that a deal may not be reached, saying the U.S. is obstructing some clauses of this agreement. Earlier, Iran's president told state media that negotiators will not compromise on the country's dignity. He also said Tehran is not after nuclear arms.
We
are prepared to, in negotiations, as we stated during the time of our martyred Imam, we are ready to assure the world that we are not seeking nuclear weapons. We are not seeking instability in the region.
Patty Culhane has the latest from Washington, D.C.
He's basically saying any deal he makes is not going to be anything like what President Barack Obama made, but it's not clear exactly where the difference is going to be. He's often talked about how the U.S. gave pallets full of cash in plane loads to Iran, indicating it's U.S. taxpayer money. It wasn't. But we do believe that the Iranians are saying if they want to agree to anything, it's going to require unfreezing their assets overseas. So that's going to be a hard thing for the President Trump to sell as a victory other than what Barack Obama got. Now, he has been pushing to get the enriched uranium out of Iran. That would be different than anything that was in the JCPOA, which Donald Trump ripped up in his first term. And they've also been pushing to extend the years that that program would face limitations. That said, the U.S. is going to likely have to give some concessions that the president doesn't want to Iran to get those straits reopened. And he is facing political pressure. How much so? Well, the Congress does have a way to stop this. It's called the War Powers Resolution. And Democrats have forced votes on this that would, in essence, tell the president the war in Iran ends now. Republicans have been able to kill every single attempt by Democrats to get that legislation passed. Just this past Thursday, there was supposed to be a vote, again pushed by Democrats. Republican leadership realized they didn't have the votes anymore to kill it, so instead they killed the vote. There are also Republican senators who are starting to join Democrats when it comes to War Powers Resolution. So the president is under pressure from the economy, from polls, from politicians, from the American people to get this done.
And Donald Trump is facing growing pressure from fellow Republicans over the ongoing negotiations. Posting on X, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said any deal with Tehran is not remotely America first. Open the strait. Texas Senator Ted Cruz said, I'm deeply concerned about what we're hearing about an Iran deal being pushed by some voices in the administration. And Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker posted the rumored 60-day ceasefire with the belief that Iran will ever engage in good faith would be a disaster. Here's more now from Patty Culhane in Washington.
Obviously, we haven't gotten this close to U.S. President Donald Trump saying that a memorandum of understanding for peace, and this was 24 hours ago, has basically been set with a few things to negotiate. Well, the few things to negotiate is really the critical question, and nobody really knows what exactly that is. The signal we're getting from White House officials now is that it's not going to be signed today. That it could take days if it is in fact signed. And the president himself in his social media post casting doubt on whether or not it's going to be signed. He said that he's told his people that we have the time is on our side. Well, The question is how much time is on the U.S. side. According to intelligence reports leaked to the New York Times, it's believed that Iran can withstand the naval blockade imposed by the U.S. for 3 to 4 months before there's severe consequences. As for the U.S. economy, the world economy, 3 to 4 months, economists say that could paint a very dire picture, not just for the U.S., but again, for the global economy. And this is a president under increasing pressure. Republicans in Congress are running out of patience. Consumers say that this war was not worth fighting, according to polls. The vast majority of Americans don't like this war. The only group that says it was necessary are people who call themselves MAGA Republicans. The midterms are coming up. Phone calls are coming into members of Congress. People are angry. And so the president is facing a real pushback for really the first time in his second term from his own party in Congress.
Charles Kupchan is a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. He says this back and forth between the U.S. and Iran means a deal won't likely be agreed upon anytime soon.
You check the news sites and we're close to a deal. You check it 10 minutes later. We're days away from a deal. And I think this is kind of par for the course for the Trump administration. One day they walk this way, the next day they walk that way. And I think the two sides continue to talk past each other. Part of the conversations are private, part of it is public diplomacy. But until